Welcome to another success story. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi there, and welcome to another interview. Today I got a fabulous Neil Keddy with me. Hi, Neil.
Yeah.
Hi there. You're in Wales, and I think I came across your feed because you have an association with Richard Smith, the Keto Pro, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I met him. When did I meet him now? I think it was about 2, maybe 3 years ago. And I think he was looking to like promote himself and get into like more gyms and things like that. So he came to my gym and asked if he was interested. I think he was looking for someone who was into strength sports, that he could kind of prove that you don't need to be like high carbs to like be strong.
Mhm.
And so I was like, yeah, because at the time I was like was I 105 kilos, I think I was. And it was just after COVID, and I was just like, yeah, I could lose quite a bit of weight. And he worked with me for a bit, and he sponsored some of my competitions that I run with the disability comps, and a few others with Iowa. And yeah, we worked with each other. He showed me like the benefits of keto. And I think he was more keto at the time. I think he's gone a bit more towards like yourself. And yeah, it worked really well. It worked really well with him, and I lost. What did I lose? I think I was about 25 kilos in about 3 months. I lost with him, and during that time, I was competing in a powerlifting comp. So I qualified for the Brits, and then a week after that, I'd done a strongman comp, which I didn't place very well, but I still did what I expected to do for myself. So I didn't like underperform. It was just everyone done better than me. But yeah, I done all that whilst I was doing keto. And one of the main things I think I found whilst I was doing it was my recovery rate more than anything. It wasn't so much um like I was getting stronger or anything like that. It was more of just the recovery side of it. Like if I'd done like a heavy set on a bar, say I'd done like a deadlift, I'd find that I didn't have to sit down and rest for so long. And I found that for the times I sat down, my heart rate went a lot lower, quicker, and which meant then my workouts became shorter and my recovery became a lot quicker. Like even like when you get DOMs the following day, I wasn't really getting that. So I was like, oh, this is different. 'Cause normally I'm just, I'm drinking my bottles of Lucozade or my pre-workouts, and I could be sitting down for 5, 10 minutes before I go and do another set because it's a heavy set. But now all of a sudden it's like I'm not eating hardly any carbs. I'm only having like his electrolytes that I was using at the time, and it was just like, oh, this is different. And yeah, I found that because the recovery was getting a lot better, I could train a lot more. So as the weight was coming off, I was still not necessarily maintaining my strength, because obviously you lose a lot of body weight, your strength is going to change slightly, but it didn't drop as much as I thought it would, because you lose 25 kilos. It's not all going to be body fat. Some of it's going to be muscle. But even if you look at my Instagram now, I'm around 80 kilos now, 80, 79, 80. And my bench at the moment is pretty close to what I was when I was 105 kilos. So yeah, it's taken a while to get back there. But like I said, my recovery rate is a lot better than what it was when I was like eating my massive bowls of pasta and my rice and my tuna, and do you know what I mean? The old, like the bodybuilding kind of diet, if you like, and when you eat pastas and the rice and everything else. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I did my bodybuilding show in my 20s. My one and
Ooh,
done, by the way, but I was definitely high
Yeah.
carb. And yeah, I had rice and chicken. I never had tuna, by the way, because in those days I was allergic to fish. I was always jealous of my
Yeah.
training partner who went
Oh,
on to
tuna and
compete.
pasta was always a big thing for me. It was always a big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
real bodybuilder sort of thing. But I'm just for the Americans and other people that don't use the metrics. That 25 kilos is
Mm.
over 50 pounds of weight loss.
Yeah, it's about
It's
55
amazing.
pounds, 50, 60
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah. But and that was literally within like 3 months. And it was during Christmas as well. So you can imagine like all the temptations through Christmas. But it was like the end of January, I had the powerlifting qualifiers for the Brits. And then I think it was like I think it was a week later, I had a first time strongman comp. And I managed to do both of them. And even the week after, like as you can imagine, like even when you've done like the bodybuilding, like you need that recovery afterwards because you're so burnt out. And I just found that all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Monday morning now I might not be able to train as much, but I could go back to the gym and I could train again. And that's what I found the major difference doing, especially low carbs, because I still kind of I still like my treats kind of thing. It's not all the time, but now and again, it's like I want to spoil myself now and again. So I look at it like my carbs. I suppose I look at carbs as like some people look at fat. So it's like my fat is my carbs and my carbs is my fat. And so I look at my carbs and I'm saying, right, I can treat myself today, but then the rest of the weekend, I'm back on in my low carbs, high fats, proteins, and things like that. So I look at it like people look at fats and think, oh, I can't have that 'cause it's a lot of fat. That's how I kind of look at carbs. I look at it that kind of way, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Well, I'm struggling to see it, but so how do you mean that your carbs are like fat? Do you mean it's an energy
Well,
source?
well, not so much like an energy source. I do sometimes feel if I have a little bit of carbs before my workout, I do perform a little bit better. But when I mean have carbs for my workout, I'm not saying like I have a bowl of pasta. It's more of it could just be a little bit of sugar. Like even if I have like one, well, not even like one sugar in my tea or anything, because I don't have sugar in my tea or anything. But it's just that little bit of carbohydrate, which could only be maybe like I don't know, like one square of a chocolate bar or something, and then
Oh, I
that would be
see. Yeah.
enough. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I got to have like a carb meal before my workout. It's just that little tiny bit that I think kind of I feel whether it's psychological or something, but I feel like if I have that little tiny bit of sugar, then my performance in the gym seems a lot better. I'm not saying it makes it better, but I don't know whether it's like I said, it could be psychological,
Yeah, I
but
think it might
feel
be.
but
Yeah,
I
and
feel like it helps in a weird way.
yeah, yeah. If it helps, I mean, I think that's it. What's really strange is, I mean, you've been a personal trainer since 2001, I think. So
Yeah.
that's 22 years. I've had this sort of conversation with coaches more than anyone else because it's very
Mm.
deeply ingrained I mean, I did the personal training level 3 and
Yeah.
level 4 certificates, and carbs are pushed so much. I think it does find itself really deeply rooted in your brain. I don't feel like I need carbs
Yeah.
anymore, but I totally understand that
Mm.
if it makes you perform better in
Yeah, but like I
sports,
said, it's not
anything
like
that works, do it.
yeah. But it's like I suppose it's like when people have like a pre-workout. You don't always want a pre-workout every time you train, but sometimes it's like, oh well, I gotta have it or I can't train. So I
Mhm.
think it's more stuck in your head, kind of. Do you know what I mean?
I
Just like
do know
people
what you
need.
mean. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, in sport, there's the people, there are superstitions, being the last one out, putting your your right trainer
Yeah,
on
yeah, I
first,
suppose it is. It's like having your favorite socks when you play and stuff. Yeah, it's I suppose it is, but it's not all the time. It's not like I got to have carbs every single time. But
Hmm.
sometimes I do feel like if I notice I've had a little bit of carbs before my workout, I sometimes feel like, oh yeah, but I don't know whether the carbs help just with your like you brain kind of thing, if that makes sense, where it kind of helps like in if the carbs work for your brain more than your body, and I think
Yes.
sometimes it helps that way. So maybe your body's like, oh well, we got a little bit of carb in us now, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna be fine, and then it's like you just perform it. But like I said, most of the time, most of the day, I don't have nothing most of the time. It's like I'll
Mm.
wake up in the morning, I'll just have coffee, and then I don't have my meal till 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, and then that's basically it from Monday to Friday. Weekends, I tend to let it slack a little because I got the kids and they have like Sunday dinners and things like that. But Monday to Friday, it's quite strict where it's almost like a 24-hour kind of fasting because I only have the one meal a day. And I find doing that works best for me. I've been doing it for about 3 months, and it's like I am lost loads of weight through it, which I thought I might have, but it's kind of helped me stay around 80 kilos. And I'm thinking, like before, we'd think that, carbs in, carbs out. And if you look at how many carbs I'm having, or calories, should I say, um, it's not a lot, but I'm still maintaining 80 kilos. So I sometimes think that when people say calories in and calories out, does it really work? Because if you look at how much I eat and then you look at how heavy I am, you'd swear I should be like 60 kilos or something, or 140 pounds. And I'm not, I'm 80 kilos and I'm only having one meal a day. And I think that, yeah, it works for me anyhow.
Yeah, it's the quality of the nutrients. I mean, if you
Yeah,
ate the same amount of calories and it was all donuts, I think you would look very different and not be very strong. One of the
yeah.
favorite metrics that I like, and you put it in your sort of backstory when you emailed me, is you had a waist of 45 inches at one point.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What is it now?
It's around 35, 36 at the moment. And
Mm,
that's like around the belly button because I always measure the same around the belly button. Like some people like
yeah,
to measure under the belly and I think, oh yeah, look, I can fit in a size 30 jeans, but your belly's hanging over the edge of it. So
yeah,
I always
good.
measure on the belly button.
That's a good point.
And yeah,
Yeah. So how tall are you? It's just so people get some context
tall.
here.
I'm not very tall. I'm 5'5". So I'm 5'5". I'm 80 kilos and 46 years age. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right, cool. So you
yeah.
started off quite slim. When did you actually decide that you needed to look at your nutrition, or when did you sort of realize that your weight management wasn't where you want it to be?
Um, I was always like when I played rugby and everything, I was always only about 9.5 stone. I was only like 140 pounds, something like that. And I stayed that till I was about, I think, 25. And then um, I think from about 25, I think your body just changes. And then all of a sudden, then I started piling on the weight. And then I think over 10 years, you don't know what to say. When you put on like a pound, you don't know what to say. You put on a stone, you think, oh yeah, it's only a stone, it's this and the other. And then it wasn't until I was in my 30s that all of a sudden I just wanted to be, because I was doing strength training, I just thought bigger was better. So I thought that I just get as big as I can, big as I can. I eat as much as I could. And I wasn't worried about, oh, if I got a big belly, it doesn't matter. As long as I was lifting more on the bar, I was fine. I wasn't interested in it. But then what I found then from about the age of 25 till about, I'd say about 5 years ago, I always had like back problems. And I got diagnosed with slight scoliosis, which I think about 90% of the population got like a slight scoliosis anyhow. It's like a posture type thing. And when I was rugby coaching, if I stood for too long, so if they had like a kids mini tournament, I couldn't stand all the way through the tournament because my back would ache. If I was in like standing in Tesco's in the queue, but the times I get served, my back would ache. And but I was getting stronger at the same time, so I ignored it. And I had that for about, I don't know, I say nearly 20 years. I dealt with it, and it did affect me like work-wise, that I couldn't do certain things like factory work. I couldn't really work on production lines because of the standing for 8 hours. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I was still getting stronger. So I just kind of brushed it to one side. Then during COVID, I think I went to my biggest because I just ended up, because I wasn't training, and I think I was living mostly on like bottles of Lucozade and simple meals and things. And I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I thought it's getting to the point now where even putting my shoelaces to tie my shoelaces up, I could feel the high blood pressure in my head. So, and I just thought, maybe I need to start doing it and slim down a little. And then that's when I met Richard, and I thought, I don't know whether you call it fate, I don't know whether you call it just coincidence, but it's like when I met Richard, it was just like, and he said about things, and he said about how he went from A to B, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. And it happened to be around Christmas time, and I thought, oh, Christmas, you always got the treats, you always got the chocolates and the the mince pies and everything. And I thought, no, I'll give it a go and see how it goes. And literally within 3 months, by roughly around March, I'd lost around 25 kilos, and it just fell off me. I think because it was all belly, I think that's how I lost it a lot quicker, because it wasn't like in my thighs and my arms, because I was always training, so my legs and my arms were okay. It was just all like belly fat. It was what people tend to call like a power belly. And I decided then, to do the keto diet and give it a go. And I haven't really looked back since. I kind of stayed just slightly above keto, I suppose, because like weekends tends to be, I let myself go a little, but I still keep it like really low. When I mean really low, it's like I'm around 50 grams ish a day, if you want to put it on average, of carbs. So I still keep it as low as I possibly can. So I'm always conscious about, and that's what I mean by I look at carbs as being fats. So when people look at fats and think, oh, I can't have that because it's really fatty, I look at that as in, oh, that's got a lot of carbs, so I can't have that. So that's what I mean by I associate carbs like fats, not as in the energy source or anything, just how people preserve what they think, how bad fats are for you. That's how I kind of look at carbs. So I got the association where I can have the fats because that gives me all my energy source, and that literally allows me to basically not eat all day. So if I have a high fat meal in the evening, I don't need to have another meal until the following evening. So I'm good. But I know if I have a high carb diet, it's like I'll eat it, I'll feel bloated, but then 2 hours later, I'm thinking, oh, I want something else and I want to eat again. So I noticed that if I keep it high protein, high fat, I only need to have like one meal a day. And I'm like I said, I've been around 80 kilos now for about a year. So even doing this, I think it goes to show that you don't need like the calories like people think they need. Like you don't need to have like 2,000, 3,000 calories a day as such, because I think mine's a lot less, but I'm still training and my training hasn't been affected by it. I'm still got the same amount of energy that I normally have. And yeah, it's just one meal a day basically. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Now you run a gym, don't you? So tell us a little bit about what you get up to.
My gym is for that.
Hmm.
And we're a community type gym. And we work with disability athletes. We work with the general public. We work with other people who are into sports, whether it's rugby players. We've had football players in here in the past. We have powerlifters and strength athletes, etc., etc. We do tend to focus more on the disability side of things. And we do run a comp once a year with Iowa, which is the British Disability, which allows seated and standing athletes to compete in, I suppose the easiest way to explain it, it's like a powerlifting comp. So they have like 3 lifts and they have 3 attempts on each one, just like you would with a powerlifting comp or a weightlifting comp, but it's catered towards disability athletes. So we do that once a year. And but majority of the time we tend to try and cater for those that don't like big commercial gyms, those that find them quite intimidating, or they want a quiet gym, because as you can see, it's not the biggest of gyms, but it's a friendly gym, it's a community gym. We are in a community centre as well, and yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it, I think.
When did
Uh,
you start running the gym and the
I started running it. The competition wise, I've been with Iowa since about 2012, 2013, and we set up the disability side of things. I think during COVID, because we noticed there was a lot of disability strongman comps going around. So we thought that we could kind of do the same, because we're not limited on the lifts that you could do. So it wasn't just like you can only do X amount of lifts. We had quite a variety. So we decided during COVID that we'll set up a disability comp. And then I think it was 2001, we done our first one where Richard came and sponsored the event, and it went really well. We had 10 lifters at the time, and it's kind of grown each year, which is really good, and it's getting kind of popular. And the gym started 2018. We started the gym, so just before COVID came around, and like you mentioned earlier, I've been a PT on and off since 2001, where I did live out in Guernsey for a bit, and yeah, it's just been sports has just been part of my life most of my life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that you're giving something back as well. I mean, I'm officially disabled because of my hearing
Yeah.
loss since I was 23, but I don't really think of myself like that. And I think
Mm.
most people with a disability, I mean, I've been in all walks of life and I've actually spoken at events and stuff. They don't see it like that at all. It's just a thing they've got, they just get on with. And I think it's amazing
Yeah.
that you've got people
Yeah.
competing. I just want to just quickly ask you the difference between a strongman competition and a powerlifting competition.
A strongman competition and a powerlifting competition is basically I don't know, quickest way to describe it is strongman's outdoors, powerlifting's indoors. But powerlifting is 3 lifts. So you've got the squats, bench, and deadlift. Strongman could be anything from lifting beer barrels to deadlifting cars using thicker bars than what you would with a powerlifting comp. It tends to have more events.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I saw a strongman competition where
Hmm.
they had to carry a fridge or refrigerator for the Americans on their back for like 100 meters or something.
Yeah, it's just they do some crazy stuff. Yeah, yeah,
That's
they
not what
do.
you've done though. You're more of a power lifter, I'm
I'm
assuming.
more of a powerlifter. I've done the odd strongman comp in the past where I've entered them, but being 5'5", um, a lot of it's quite difficult because where they got like the Atlas stones, you've got like concrete balls, and you got to lift them onto a platform. Sometimes, 9 times out of 10, that platform's taller than me. So it's it's not easy for the short person.
No,
So
but
yeah.
they divide it by weight, don't they? Not height so much, I think.
The strongman comp, I think it's because I think majority of the athletes are, I'd say, roughly around 6 foot, 5'10", 6 foot. So the platforms tend to be like their chest height. So of course their chest height is my head height. So it's not always easy. But the powerlifting comps, they're a little bit better because they are age categories, weight categories. Obviously, you've got the male, female, etc. So they're a little bit, you're up against someone your own size and weight kind of thing. So it's a little bit better. But with the strongman comp, it's basically the taller you are, the more advantage you've got because then the platforms are basically lower down. So it's easier.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it's such a niche. But I think powerlifting seems to be becoming more common rather
Yeah,
than just
it
working out
is
in the
becoming
gym.
quite popular. Yeah, and you get a lot of people in the gym, even though they might not compete in powerlifting, they'll still sometimes call themselves powerlifters because they do the three lifts and because they do the squats, the bench, the deadlifts, and then they kind of class themselves, oh, I'm a powerlifter, and they never always compete. But it's getting very popular. Like I went to the British, I think not last year, was it last year or the year before? And there was probably, it lasted a week. And even just for my category, which was the raw, men's raw, and I think it was between, I think 82 kilos and above. So you had 82 and a half, 90, 110 class, and then it went all the way up to like 140 plus categories. That was just for one day. And then you had another day then where you'd have the ones who were below 82 and they might be with somebody else. But it lasted a week and I think there was about 300 lifters altogether for the old British competition. So it's some federations is quite popular and it's quite a big event. But with Iowa, we tend to have 1 day events. They're not as popular because we tend to do um kind of your old time lifts. So we do a lot of grip lifts. We do a lot of one-handed lifts, like a one-handed deadlift. Um, we do a variety of different squats, like a lunge squat, back squat, front squat. We also do the Olympic lifts, but we also use like a 2-inch bar, which some people know it as an axle bar. And we'll do hack lifts, straddle deadlifts, Zercher lifts, and lots of other type of lifts. So the Iowa comps, it's kind of, think of the old time circus ones where you see the barbell and you've got like the balls on the end. And think of those and some of the weird lifts that they would do in the gold, like black and white photos. And take some of the lifts that we kind of do. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. And I think it's fascinating that you've been so honest about you had a dip in strength, but now at 46, you feel like your strength is coming back, even though you're lighter, and that your
Yeah.
recovery is better. So you're sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
my recovery is a lot better. I think the only thing that's stopping me at the moment getting fully back to where I was is I just got a slight knee injury, which I'm waiting for results to come through. So my squats and my leg training isn't, well, it's pretty non-existent at the moment. But if you judge it on my upper body, then when I done, I think the best I've ever done overhead kind of press is about 80 kilos. And I think last week or this week I did 75 for one. And my bench best I've done with a bench is 135 kilos, and I'm around 115, 120 at the moment. So considering I've lost like 25 kilos in body weight, the strength is still starting to come back up. I'm not worrying so much about I need to be bigger to be stronger kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Do you ever do pull-ups just out of interest?
Pull-ups. I never used to do pull-ups. I did them when I was a kid. I was like a little monkey when I was a kid. But for a while I couldn't do it because it would like hurt my shoulders, and I think because of my body weight as well, it was quite hard. But lately I can do pull-ups. It's only about, I think, about 8 pull-ups. But I find now that I'm a lot lighter, it's a lot easier because I'm not
Mm.
lifting as much weight. So but yeah.
Yeah, 95% of men that go to the gym, 95% can't do 10 pull-ups. So I'm just giving you a little target there. If you want to do 10
Yeah,
pull-ups at some point, drop a video that you do it. Because that's one of my things that I like. If people can't do pull-ups, to do a dead hang. I think that's really good for strength, grip strength, and all over your kinetic chain. I think is improved by just dead hanging. So Neil, that's fantastic. That's really good. Hopefully you'll be able to send me some stuff about your gym and some pictures of you competing. You did win one event, didn't you? I know this was before you were low carb or keto, but you keeping your light under the bushel. Didn't you win something at AWPC or something?
I have won the Europeans. I won the Europeans about 2, 3 years ago. That was when I was at my biggest and my strongest. And I came second in the Brits, which was my last powerlifting comp, which was, I think it was about a year ago. And then that's when my knee kind of said enough's enough, and I had to step away from it. I got various world records with Iowa, from finger lifts to squats, a Steinborn lift, and the list kind of goes on. I think I've had about 12 or 14 Iowa world records. Whether they're still standing, I'm not sure, because that's over a span of about 10 years. So one or two may have been broken by other people. But I've had, I think in total, about 12 world records with Iowa. Yeah, I've had the Europeans with ABPU, and I came second as well in the Brits with the ABPU. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time, and thanks for giving your time to the disability athletes as well. I think that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah, I go to a commercial gym, and I feel they're a nice bunch there, but they don't really do much for the community, or really give anything back. I don't see anyone ever walking around the gym giving tips or advice or motivating.
No, it's sometimes hard with commercial gyms, so I think because they're so busy and it's money orientated, I think sometimes it's harder for commercial gyms. Not that they don't want to be helpful or anything, but I think sometimes it's just the nature of the gym where it's kind of more money orientated. And with us, because it's smaller and it's a community gym, everyone kind of helps everyone. So you're never like far away from someone to ask for advice and things. And I'm normally sat by here anyhow. So I'm always here on hand if anyone needs tips and advice and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot better as a community gym. You get a lot more support. So, yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of people sign up for. I do an online training program. I've got one on my app, which is only £2.99 a month, and it's got videos and training programs and all that sort of stuff. And they're quite happy with that. I think because of the videos, you still get a little personal touch. But it's been really nice to talk to you. And like I say, if you've got any promotional material or nice pictures of your gym or something, we'll push that onto the video as well for people. And if anyone wants to contact you, is it all right if I put your email address in the description?
Yeah, you put my email address and things on there. I'm also on like Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So if they ever want to search me up, they can search the gym, which is Ked's Gym, or they can just type my name in. I think my name's quite rare, so you can find me on like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc., etc.
Great stuff. Great
So
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's nice that I've met you through Richard, because it was great that he sponsored that event. So yeah,
yeah, it was, and it was really good. It was the first disability comp as well, and he came down and gave a lot of sponsor. Funny enough, I got to go and see him now in an hour's time, because he's only literally 10, 15 minutes up the road from me. So yeah, we're going to see him now, and when we finish breathing. So yeah, so
send
it's a
send him my
small world.
regards. Right,
I will.
lovely. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, no probs. No probs.